What's up guys, Rideshare Guy here, and today I've got a video for you titled The Cancellation Strategy That Earns You More Than Driving. Now, I think this video might be a little controversial and stir up some good comments, so definitely look forward to hear what you guys have to say, but for those who haven't heard of this, or for those who don't know, it's a pretty interesting strategy that I heard about recently in a few different places, and unfortunately I can't say that I came up with it, or maybe fortunately, we'll see what you guys think, but I heard about it, I haven't gone out and actually tried it yet because I'm still a little bit on the fence, but I definitely understand why drivers are doing it. And basically what it involves is not texting, not calling the passenger. Once you get to the destination, you hit that you've arrived, no more texts, no texts at all, no calls, nothing. Once that 5 minutes is up, you cancel, get your fee and move on, right? So basically it's kind of, you go out there and you basically hope that the passenger won't come out. You kind of eliminate any contact that you normally have. Now, obviously, this is a lot different than the strategy I normally recommend, right? What I normally recommend is that you go, as soon as you accept the request, you have a stock text or a saved text that you send to the passenger, establish that connection so that they are less likely to cancel on you and so that they know you're on your way. And frankly, because most drivers don't do it, so it kind of makes yourself stand out. Once you get there, send another text in addition to, obviously they get a notification through the Uber app, but that doesn't always go through. So you send another text once you get there. After 2 to 3 minutes, you call to see where the heck they are. And then after 5 minutes, that's when you can cancel. Now, this strategy that I'm making the video, the cancellation strategy that earns you more than driving, basically involves no contact with the rider. Since you're hoping that, hey, you kind of want to come in like a ninja, right? And hope that, they don't see you. And obviously this is going to work well, or this strategy is going to be most effective Friday, Saturday nights when passengers are basically drinking, when they're in groups of 3 to 4 people, because obviously it's harder to get 3 to 4 people out the door and it takes a lot more energy and effort to get them out than 1 or 2. And I mean, obviously you guys know the big joke about Uber passengers is that they take forever to get out. So if you kind of don't text them and kind of stay under the radar, they may not even realize that their Uber is here. And if they're partying, pre-partying, whatever, you basically can get that $5 cancellation fee. And obviously, with that $5 cancellation fee, you still pay Uber's 20%, so it's $4, but $4 payout. But obviously, if that's compared to a minimum fare, for example, let's say you're going to take these jokers on a minimum fare, right? $4. If you have a $4 minimum fare after Uber's $1 safety fee and 20%, you're down to $2.40, and obviously that's a lot less than $4. And the other thing that you have to consider is that you also are not having to go and drive those miles, so you can go right back online and wait for your next request. So this strategy is obviously a little bit gray hat, I would call it. If you're going to go and do this strategy and cancel on people, they're probably going to be pissed. And in fact, I probably wouldn't go immediately back online on the Uber app because you'll be the closest driver to them and you'll get them again. So maybe pop onto the Lyft app and wait a few minutes and then turn the Uber app on until they get someone else. But I mean, I kind of want to know what you guys think about this strategy. Technically, you're not doing anything against Uber's rules, right? But you're basically hoping that you don't have to give a ride, which is obviously not the purpose of the platform. And I mean, I have to give it to people. They're creative. I can't take credit for this idea. I definitely didn't think about it or think of it. But, there are drivers, I don't know how many, but I'm sure there's at least a few drivers out there doing this and probably having pretty good success, because now that I think about it and kind of the passengers that I normally take on Friday, Saturday nights, I'm doing all this stuff to work hard to make them come out. And these other drivers are basically taking the opposite approach, that they're not going to do anything. As soon as that 5 minutes is up, cancel on them and move on. Now, I will say that getting cancellation fees from Uber is tough at times. So if you are going to do this, you definitely want to make sure that you're screenshotting everything with timestamps so that basically when you do go and check your pay statement the next day, if there are a couple cancellation fees that aren't there, you have proof that you can go to Uber and say, hey, I should have gotten paid for this, because they do have a lot of problems with that. With this strategy, they're not doing anything they shouldn't be doing. So that's why I call it kind of gray hat, right? In kind of the online world, you say white hat is like really clean stuff that is, just anyone can do, that's, no one has any problems with. Black hat is the stuff where you start to be really spammy and you start doing stuff that people don't like. And gray hat is kind of somewhere in the middle. And that's kind of where I would qualify this strategy, because like I said, it isn't against Uber's rules, but it does make for a poor passenger experience. And I mean, at the same time, though, I understand, right? If passengers are taking 5 minutes to get out there, you have to value your time. I value my time. So I definitely recommend, or I definitely agree with canceling after 5 minutes. But at the same time, is it the driver's responsibility to really goad these passengers and make sure that they come out on time and do everything they can to come out on time? So I'm curious to hear from you guys. Personally, I mean, I can't say that I'm completely innocent because I've employed a similar strategy, right? One of the most popular articles ever on my site was about hacking Uber's fare guarantees, which basically involved drivers going and sitting in low request areas where they're not going to get many requests and just sitting there reading a book. If your house happens to be in a low request area, that was a really good bonus, because I talked to drivers who would basically just, after reading my article, they would sit at home and watch Netflix for 5 hours. And then they'd go downtown, do 5 rides, make sure that they hit the guarantees, and then they would get boosted up to the average hourly guarantee. And obviously Uber didn't like that and ended up changing their policies to and with the guarantees to kind of avoid that. You can still do it a little, but so I mean, that was a strategy that I thought of, and I mean, I know other drivers were doing, but that was something that I employed, and I mean, it worked pretty damn well. So I know that this strategy is about the same, right? It's kind of in that gray area. So I'm curious to know what you guys think about it. Do you have a problem with it? And, obviously it does kind of make the passenger experience worse, but at the same time, it's training these passengers. And sometimes I kind of say that you have to train them a lot, and it sounds like we're talking about dogs or puppies, but they're actually people. So that's something that I don't know if that's funny, but, just keep in mind. So really, at the end of the day, I don't blame people. They're out there doing what they have to maximize their income. So is this strategy something you guys would do? Is it something that Uber should, or you think will eventually ban? And obviously there's been some big changes to the cancellation fees lately, and supposedly that in certain cities on the East Coast, I think 5 or 6 right now, the passenger no longer has to pay a cancellation fee, but the driver still gets it. And there's still there's still kind of, we're still trying to figure out what the exact situation is and how it's going to work and how it's going to play out. But it'll definitely be interesting to see drivers that are using this strategy in those cities. So definitely leave a comment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe on the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email or definitely leave a comment below, and I'll respond as soon as possible. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.